Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, once again here to Virtual Racing Network. This race is brought to you by Caldwell Lawn Care Services. This is the Caldwell Lawn Care Services 45, as we are here tonight at Lime Rock Club. Well, actually, Lime Rock Park is technically the name of this track, and we are here at the road course here tonight for the American Motorsports Association. We have some great racing coming your way here tonight. Again, a road course. These drivers are going to be turning right and left here tonight. But before we get into all of the racing details, of course, it is that time to go through your sponsors here for tonight's race. This race is brought to you by the following partners. Evidence-Based Mommy, that is your pole award here for tonight's race. Hilton Crafts and Designs, and of course your presenting sponsor here for tonight's race, that is Caldwell Lawn Care Services out of Thomasville, North Carolina. Make sure you check out all of these great partners over on their social media sites. And of course, on the broadcast side of things, we wouldn't be here for 2019 if it wasn't for the following partners. Those do include Northwest Racing Series, your official one-to-go sponsor here for tonight's race. Walls Beard Co. Beard Balm, your starting grid sponsor. RaceOnTexas.com, your official dirt partner for VRN. We have a lot of more news coming about them and VRN here in the coming days and 2 weeks, so make sure you stay tuned for that. SimSpeedTrap.com, your official button box sponsor of VRN. We also will be giving one of those boxes away when we reach 2,500 subscribers here on the channel. iBog, your official overlay sponsor of VRN. Racecore, Hanover Wrecker Service, your official caution sponsor for all races here on VRN. If you're in need of a wrecker service, give them a call at 1-304-664-3848. On the Edge Motorsports, your official Wicked Energy Cum retailer here for VRN. Check them out at ontheedgemotorsports.com if you're looking for some of that great tasting, definitely energy-filled Wicked Energy Gum. And, of course, Huffman Designs, the official paint booth of Virtual Racing Network. Make sure you check them out on Facebook if you're looking for a really killer paint job here on the iRacing service. That will do it, of course, here for the sponsors. We are again here at Lime Rock Park, and we have a lot to go over. First and foremost here, let's go ahead and pull up your track map here. This is something new we're bringing in to the overlays here, just kind of give you a picture of what this track is going to do here tonight and what this track is like. As you can see, this is definitely not an oval track. As you can see there, we have the little arrow, black arrow at the bottom. That is your start-finish line. Pit road going to be a little different here tonight as well. We'll see if anyone actually has to use that. But going into turn 1 and 2, that is the Big Bend, as it's called here, is a very not what you call a sweeping turn. It is a big bend. You can actually carry a little bit more speed through that corner than you might think you can. Coming around there to the sharp one, you go to the left-hander and then the S's and then the right-hander. So a lot going on between turn 2 and 4. There is a ton of turns going on in that one little area. You'll have to be very careful. Once you get past turn 4, though, you have the no-name straight. Between turn 4 and 5, you can get some serious speed build up. There is a little bend in there, but won't be too big of an issue for these drivers, I don't think, here tonight. Of course, the uphill turn number 5 leading onto the back straight. That one, it will be probably one of the sharpest turns we'll have here. You'll have to be a little careful there. Coming down that back straight, though, leading to the west bend. Another turn where you can carry a little bit of speed through, especially with these cars here tonight with the super late model, and then coming through the downhill. Really from turn 6 all the way to back to turn 1, you'll really be able to carry some speed. So you'll have to be careful. If somebody's not quite as fast as you, you could catch up to them very quickly. If they're just, a second or two off of your pace, you could definitely catch someone if you're going to lap them. Hopefully we won't see too many people going to lap down here tonight. But that is just a quick rundown of how the track is going to work here tonight. So again, we'll probably bring that up again later on tonight to give you a feel of this track and all that it does entail. Hopefully, starting in the next week or so, we'll be able to get some point standings up. These are brand new overlays we have in here, so we don't have those in just yet. That being said, though, we do have some new stuff in here for anyone that is new with us here tonight. Let's go ahead and bring up your BDCcoatings.com track facts here for tonight's race. Of course, this is a 1.53 mile track. This is Lime Rock track. Was originally conceived of in 1956 by Jim Vahil. Hopefully, I don't know if we're going to pronounce that right, but either way, we'll call him Jim V here for tonight. 1956. This is an extremely old track. However, it is not necessarily, unpopular here. That's not the second track fact that we wanted to get in there. We forgot about the other one and didn't get it in time, but as you can see there, the track does have a loyal following. I know a lot of people may not have heard about this track before, but of course it did face some resistance from the local community shortly after it opened in 1959. So you see there, every track has its controversy here. People don't want it, then they do want it. It has withstood the test of time here. And of course, what you don't know is there we were going to put in there in 2007, Skip Barber actually opened up there. You see it, the Lime Rock Club. So he actually introduced a private members-only club in 2007 where they can come out here and test cars. Again, it's a private members-only club, so you can't just go to this track and ride around it whenever you want. You have to be, of course, a part of that club. So that's just some of the little history about this track. First and foremost, of course, before we get any further, we want to thank everybody for tuning in here tonight to Virtual Racing Network. Again, we have some big news coming, hopefully in the next couple of days, possibly a week. It just depends on when things happen and how fast or slow they go. But we will be getting that news to you as quickly as we can on the Virtual Racing Network Facebook page. And of course, we want to thank everybody for tuning in on Facebook or on YouTube, whichever side you happen to be on here tonight watching this race. That being said, let's go ahead and pull this up here as we are in practice for the next 8 minutes or so. We'll go ahead and let you see where kind of everyone is. They are in a driver's meeting here at the moment. But there you see it on your screen. Is the number 66 of David Kogorian is your fastest one here. You see right there, everybody's in the pits except for McSwain. As FP McSwain, he is now in the pits as well. So everyone's in the pits for a driver's meeting here at the moment. But Kilgorian is your fastest, followed by Moreau. Then you have Fortin, that I believe that is Gilliam Fortin in the number 13 machine, followed by Russell Brown, Tyler Hilton, Donald Clark, and FP McSwain. It looks like we're going to get Troy Radford in here as well, as he just connects here at the last minute here to be our 8th driver. Again, we're working on the car count here. It's a little lower, but this is a road course. People don't necessarily like road courses. They're not necessarily their favorite track. We love them here on the channel, though. They're different. It really shakes things up when it comes to the point standings. So we're definitely excited to be here covering this race here for the AMA Super Late Model Series. And let's get a shot here as we'll go over to these drivers real fast. As this is the view we're going to typically get as the 75 is going back out onto the track. But we have some new sponsors we want to bring into the picture here tonight. As we'll go ahead and get rid of the running order off of your screen. And let's go to it. Again, a few new sponsors we want to talk about. One of those being our new aerial coverage. Tonight's aerial coverage for tonight's race is provided by Sam's Ford out of Corpus Christi, Texas. if you're in the market for a new car, and particularly a Ford, head on down there, give them a call, check them out on their website, Sam's Ford in Corpus Christi, Texas. If you are in the market for a car, definitely worth checking out here. Give you a bit of a view of what it's going to look like here from the aerial view tonight. Let's go ahead and switch over while we're watching the 75 of FP McSwain out on the track here. Let's go to our track information here for tonight. As there you see it here at Lime Rock Park. Your track is 1.47 miles long. We have 7 total turns. Again, there's a reason we put that in there because, you know, we talk about all the time. It's 4 turns, 4 turns, 4 turns. Not tonight, folks. It is 7 turns around this track. As you can see, its altitude is 538 feet. Race distance is going to be 30 laps. So that miles is not even close to being correct because this is a practice. As you see right there, your track temp, 103 degrees, and your wind speed is live. That is a live wind speed here. At roughly 1 mile per hour. We'll see if it'll get up to 2 miles per hour, as it looks like it is. The wind is definitely picking up here out of the south now. Again, your track information here tonight provided by Bulletproof Tees. If you're in the market for a t-shirt, definitely hit them up there. They can put your design on a t-shirt. And I believe they even have some t-shirts of some of your famous racers out there, some dirt track racers. So check them out. That is Bulletproof Tees. You can definitely check them out at bulletprooftees.com. We hope everyone out there does enjoy those. They have some great stuff there, as we're going to kick a wrong button there. Again, some new overlays coming in. So we are, of course, getting all of that sorted out here. As we do have new stuff to play with, and we are excited to do so here tonight. Of course, your track location there, it says Lime Rock Full, as in Lakeville, USA. Again, that is a real track here in the United States. So if you are in the area, you might go over there and check them out and see what it's all about. Of course, I am Charles here in the booth tonight as your producer and announcer here tonight. We have a little short staffed here tonight, but hopefully in the future we will have a full team here for the asphalt side of things. We are looking to expand, so if you're looking to get into broadcasting or announcing, we are hiring, so definitely shoot us a message over on the Facebook page, and we will talk to you about the getting into the booth here with us. That being said, we're going to go ahead and get rid of that fast and bring up your countdown to green. As there it is, 3 minutes left on the clock. We're going to step away here for about 30 seconds, and we'll be right back. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, as again we are in the countdown to green. We'll see how this one does play out. Again, we gotta take care of one little thing real fast, and we'll see if we can get some help in here. So give us just a minute. We'll be right back one more time, hopefully before qualifying starts, as we'll have a little bit of time till these guys get up to speed. All right, we are seeing what we can do to get a little help in here real quick, as it looks like we have Russell Gainey here. He is from another league we cover. So first off, it is in the league hosted there, Russell. So if you want to jump in there, and welcome to the booth. I know you've been wanting to get in here quite some time, so welcome to the booth here for the first time.
I'd like to be with you, and I'll do my best with you.
Well, definitely, we look forward to having you here. And a little quiet there, so we're gonna have to turn you up a little bit if we can. But yeah, we got about 30 seconds left here before we get into qualifying. So far, the fastest is still David Kilgorian, so he looks to be the guy to beat here tonight. But give us just another about 20 seconds. We're going to see if we can get Russell's mic loud and clear, and we will be right back. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, as Russell's getting logged in here to the race. We're going to go ahead and jump right down into the thick of things as we have drivers out onto the track right now. We'll pull up your qualifying bar. It's just going to be Russell Brown, so we're going to have a Russell reporting on a Russell here tonight for the race. Nobody's put in a time yet. But while we're waiting and watching for these guys to go ahead and put times in here, you know, when you talk about road courses, Russell, your league does some road courses as well. So what is a huge key to get around a road course and be fast and successful at a track like this?
Well, especially at this track, we ran this track last year for Season 2 in the 2011 Nationwides, and this track is not the easiest track to get around, especially with heavy cars like this, but probably the main thing is keying your braking points and getting back on the throttle, especially saving those tires like this track, because this track can get hot in some places.
It definitely can, and I believe in effect here tonight will be a no-tire rule, so they have to keep the tires they start on. While it's only 30 laps, we're looking at roughly a 40-minute race. You know, give or take, because there won't be any cautions. This will be straight through. Obviously, we'll be looking for those wrecks that do happen, because I'm sure we will see some. But, you know, without a caution, it's really going to change the dynamic of the race. You know, you're used to, you spin out, caution comes out, you regroup and do it again. You don't have that luxury on a road course, as it won't throw a full course caution. So, again, back to you on the stuff like that you don't have the caution coming out. Does it really change the mindset of how you pursue this and how aggressive you are?
Most definitely, because it's all about saving those tires and planning out when you're going to pit in for fuel or not, because a track like this, as I said once again, these cars, they're pretty heavy, so it could get interesting here with these cars, because I've never run these cars on a road course except for Watkins Glen, and it was just a pain in you know what, just trying to get around Watkins Glen.
Yeah, I can only imagine what it would be like, as we saw Gilliam Thornton there just put it into the, I guess that would be the inside wall, depending on what corner it was. As we brought up earlier, there's 7 turns here. You know, we often wonder, people question, why do you put that in the overlays? Why do you show there's 4 turns? You know, we know that every week there's 4 corners, but there are some tracks, of course, like Pocono, that only technically has 3. And then you come to tracks like this that are kind of one-off races where there's not. There's only 4 at most of them, but there's 7 here. So you really have to set up your car is open set to determine which one. And you know, to go back to here, when you have 7 turns to go around a track, which one as a driver do you try to focus on? Is there a certain one that you try to pinpoint, or certain ones that you try to make your car better at, maybe towards the end of the lap, or do you just have to kind of get a general feeling, through all the course?
Probably the whole course, because there's that one little jump at the coming up out of the S's that will get you. If you hit that jump wrong, you will spin out and pretty much go straight into the inside wall or outside wall.
Well, you definitely do not want to do that. I believe the 66 of David Kogorian just went through that little jump, and we did some testing on here, and you can actually get some air. Actually, not only can you get some air, we came around a corner a little hot, hotter than we should have earlier, and we actually pulled the front of the wheel up off the ground too. So this is going to be a very tricky race for these guys, as we are in qualifying for the next 40 seconds. So we are going to go ahead and step away here. We got about 35 seconds to go. When we come back, it will be time for your Walls Beard Co. starting grid, as it looks like everybody except for FP McSwain has taken to the track. Looks like him and Troy Radford are going to be starting towards the back of the field here tonight. We will be back here in just under 20 seconds with your Walls Beard Co. starting grid. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, as it is time for your Walls Beard Co. starting grid. And we want to give a big shout out to Jason Allison here for getting our grid animated over at iBog. If you're looking for any overlays to be done, check them out at ibog.co. Again, more will be done here soon, and we are awesome with the ones we have so far. Let's go ahead and get to it. Row 1 of your Walls Beard Co. starting grid is going to be the 66 of David Kilgorian and the 55 of Fred Moreau. Row 2 is going to be the 13 of Gilliam Fortin and the 70 of Russell Brown Jr. Interesting that it is the number 70 for Russell Brown, and we have Russell Caney in the booth here with us, and his number is 70. So that is kind of a little spooky there, but moving on to row 3, it is going to be the 52 of Tyler Hilton and the 18 of Donald Clark. Row 4 is going to be the 75 of FP McSwain and the 94 of Troy Radford. That will do it here for your Walls Beard Co. starting grid. Again, to go back, as we're going to have about a minute 20 or so here to get around this track. It is kind of, almost scary how we have two Russells, both number 70 in their respectable leagues. So definitely interesting, to say the least.
I'm going to correct you right there, Mr. C, or Charles. My number's number 80. He's just 10 short.
That's right. It is number 80. My apologies. Well, we'll just have to deem you number 70 from now on.
Oh, man.
I knew it was a number that was had a 0 at the end. I was thinking 70 for some reason. So we'll just have to make you number 70 from now on. But obviously we'll be covering yours on Saturdays here, so you're freed up on Friday nights. I believe you said that starts in April. What was it? April what night?
April 6th.
April 6th. So we'll be covering all of that racing action there for Bonehead Racing on Saturday nights. Right now we got the Porsche leading this field around, and I cannot wait to see what these guys do here. You think here, it's hard to tell who is actually your pole sitter as the pace car dives off. Green flag is out. It's actually the 66, not the 55. Based on how they would normally turn, you would think it'd be the 55 of Fred Moreau, but it's not. It's the 66 that is actually your leader here, as he's going to get a decent-sized lead. I don't think anybody got a huge start there.
Most certainly. The 66 looked like he got a pretty bad restart, but he made his way back up to first place, and he's going straight into those S's. And you're going to see what he can do up that hill.
He did as they go up the hill. And we have lots of different camera angles here for you tonight as they all come flying through the corner. Again, you got some turns here tonight that are going to be very tricky. You're going to have to really slow down to get through. And then there's some, especially going the downhill on the back straight to turn 1. It is a very long sweeping turn, and you can really build some speed up there. So, as we said earlier in the pre-race show, you're going to have to be careful there, especially later in this race. If someone's wrecked out or you're catching them, possibly going to put them a lap down, you could easily catch somebody and not realizing you're catching them as fast as you are.
Yeah, especially here because these brakes glow red hot, and as they're going through the turns, they're going to slowly get your tires, because I got my tires within the first 7 laps of when my league went here last year. It was hectic here, so it looks like all of them are racing pretty good right now. Looks like not too much contact. Sorry.
Yeah, definitely are indeed here. And while we have a moment, let's go over to second place, and let's actually go on board with him real fast. And you can kind of get a feel for what it's like. You can kind of see his wheel over there. And a big indicator there for everyone out there watching is if you look at the right hand of the driver here while we're on board, you see a little red line right there comes into your screen. And look how far he's turning this wheel, almost 90 degrees to get around this turn. That is showing you just how sharp you have to turn this wheel to get around this place. You know, compared to, like a super speedway or even like a Bristol or something where, you don't have to turn that wheel as much. You really have to turn the wheel to get through these turns at this track. This is unlike any road or any roller oval or even oval that these guys go to throughout the year.
Especially because with the new release of the Charlotte Roval here, we had to use a lot more turning on this track than we had to use on the Roval with the 2011 Nationwides.
Yeah, definitely the Roval. Not anything like this. It's definitely a lot tamer, I guess you could say. This track is it's different, and like we again talked about in the pre-show, is we have the 18 going off track of Donald Clark. It's old. It got formed in 1956, and it is an iconic track here in racing. Is the 18 of Donald Clark's going to lock it up there just a little bit. But it's been around for a very long time. Is now the 94 of Troy Radford's going to go off track a little bit. I expect to see quite a bit of that here. Is drivers going off and into that grass a little bit. You can actually see from when this track was scanned, the little patches of dirt they're showing. That indicates where people have gone off track or maybe cut the course a little bit trying to gain some speed.
Now, let's say we just had a car go in the wall, and that was the number 52 of Tyler Hilton. It looks like he got into the wall going up that old jump.
Yeah, you've got to be careful. We'll go back and take a quick look at this if we can to see where he did it and see exactly what happened to him. As we did go back, let's go to the aerial cam here, provided by Sam's Ford. We'll see exactly what happened. He's definitely extremely loose as we're back here looking at the replay. And he is definitely fighting that car right now, not handling the way he wants. But we're going to go ahead and get back up to our leader here. As right there's about to be where you're talking about. Just gets loose on him. Let's go back up to our leader here. And there it is right there. He hits the wall. And we'll go back to the live here. And, it's going to hurt the car a little bit. I don't think it's going to affect too much as far as aero. But it definitely will slow your car down. And that's going to put you laps down potentially if you get caught.
Especially because pit stops with these cars, they're not the fastest. They can take up to 23 to 25 seconds depending on what you do with the car. This is not like a normal NASCAR where it just takes 13 seconds and you're back out there. So that's going to be a huge game changer here tonight if pit road is allowed here tonight.
Yeah, it definitely is. No tires, though. At least we do not think they can take tires. We did not clarify. That is a rule. They have no tires. However, this is a road course, so I'm not sure if that rule is in effect here tonight. We may have to get a hold of race control and see if that rule is in effect. But right now, it is David Kilgorian that is leading this race. He's led every lap so far, as we have 6 laps completed. We're already on lap 7, so it will not be long before we're to lap 10 and starting lap 11, and we will be a third of the way done with this race. It's only a 30-lap race, so not a whole lot of laps, but at the same time, it's still going to take a little bit of time because of how big this track is.
Especially when we went here, our races were 65 laps long, and that's a lot longer than these guys running, but I'm guessing most of these guys are praying for some overcast because that will cool the track down just a tad, but not by much.
It's not going to do it too much, and while we have that up again, let's go ahead and pull up that track information here as we zoom our camera out just a little bit here and take a look. You know, we mentioned earlier during the pre-show that it was 103 degrees. Excuse me. As you were watching this, it went up to 105. It's dropped to 104. So the temperature is rising and lowering depending on where they are. And it's hard for the fans out there to see. I can see it, and you can probably see it a little better. But they're just in that last turn here as we're watching the 66, your race leader. It got darker, and that is because of the dynamic sky. These clouds are rolling over, and there may be a corner or two that have a lot of overcast, and then other corners that are nice and sunny. So it really changes the whole dynamic as our temperature's down to 103 now, and the wind has picked up from 0.3 to 2.3 miles per hour out of the southwest, thanks to bulletproof tees here in your track information. So a lot going on here for tonight's race.
Especially, and this track is nice and toasty for these tires, but the question is, if tires are allowed to be changed, are drivers going to take right side or left side only? Or are they going to go all 4?
Good question as we watch the 75 of FP McSwain go off course a little bit, and your leader is going to get by him. So he is officially 1 lap down now, and it looks like second place Fred Moreau is going to be catching him before long, and maybe having some connection issues there as well. And we were afraid of that. You know, you go off course too many times, and that's what's going to happen is you're going to go a lap down because they're going to catch you. And it looks like the 75 of FP McSwain is going to pull it down pit road. So we'll see if he's going to call it a day here and park it, or if he's just going to take this as a scheduled pit stop time. We'll definitely see as he is on the track right now, and he is stopped, so we'll keep an eye on him. Meanwhile, we want to go back up to the front here as we got the 13 of Gilliam Fortin and the 70 of Russell Brown. They've got a nice little battle starting to build up here.
And it does look like McSwain did park it for the night. I do feel bad for him. He looked like a good racer, so depending on what happens, he could still show back up and get his laps back.
Yeah, he definitely could. Be definitely a challenge to do, as you see the 13 and the 70 go up the uphill. I guess you could hit up the uphill. Them two, they're starting to get a little bit closer here. The 70 of Russell Brown really starting to try and make something happen here. So he's currently sitting in 4th place, and he is definitely running down the 13 of Gilliam. Again, we believe that is right, Gilliam Fortin in that 13 machine, currently 3rd place. That's one of the few battles on the track right now that is happening. So we're going to keep an eye on them here for just a minute. While you watch this battle, though, we're on lap 10. We have 20 to go. We're going to step away to a quick commercial break. We will be right back.
This is a demonstration for the built-in water temperature sensor of W5 CPU water block. There is a water temperature sensor built inside W5 to detect the temperature of the coolant that runs through W5. Here, we're using thermal mode and time-lapse effect to show the temperature change of the system. You can easily see the real-time temperature change on the software screen. W5 is also made with central inlet design, which contributes to higher coolant flow that helps faster heat dispatching to achieve a lower coolant temperature, of which you can see on the software thanks to the water temperature sensor. While W5 shows you the temperature of the coolant that runs through your CPU water block, you can also throw in a Pacific TF1 indicator to monitor the temperature and coolant flow of your whole system.
All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, here, and while we were in that commercial break, you just said it, Russell, here in the booth. We'll let you repeat it there now that the mics are open. This track has really started to gather some heat.
Yeah, it's 107 degrees on, like, holy cow. I bet after the race, if you took one of the tires off of the car, you could probably, like, get a nice little egg on it, toasted.
Yeah, you definitely could. At 107 degrees, you could cook an egg very quickly on one of these, as it is dropping to 106. There's 107, and that temperature is also going up and down depending on who we're watching at what part of the track. It goes down when you get into a cloudy area. But again, your track information here presented by Bulletproof Tees, as we have some good information in there. Still watching this battle between Russell Brown and Gilliam Fortin. That is battle for third place right now. We go a little bit back here. We have another battle starting to build, and I believe it is anyway. That is the 94 of, I'm sorry, that is not a battle. That is the 94 who is a lap down, and that is our leader that just passed him in the 66 of David Kilgorian. So, or DK as people call him. He is actually starting to lap quite a bit of this field, as of right now, over half the field is at least one lap down.
Especially that. I don't know what the 66 car has, but if he has NOS on that thing, man, hey, TK, hook me up a little bit.
Yeah, I am beginning to wonder if he's not powered by Pepsi under that hood somewhere. We all might need to be running some Pepsi in our engines, because that thing is flying here tonight. And I was teasing him earlier, said, I was kind of rooting for him, hoping we'd all get some free Pepsi if he won this race. This was before anyone actually ever took to the track and put down any laps. I had no idea he was going to be this fast. You almost want to wonder if he's a road course ringer coming in here, because we have not seen him in any other race. So this may be his specialty, as we now have separate license for oval dirt, road course, and road rally. And he is an A-class 4.68 with a 4,200 I rating. So he definitely knows his way around a road course. And he's doing that here as we are at the halfway point of this race right now, with him leading all 15 laps.
Yeah, the 66, he's gone. Like, I don't know if second place is going to be able to catch him in time, but he's running solid 52 seconds. And he's getting a little loose. Oh.
Yeah, he definitely is. And just to bring that up here, as you're talking about lap times there, their fastest lap here for your race leaders, went back to him here, 52.390. His last lap, 52.7. We talked about tires, and we did find out there's no tire rule in effect. So tire wear really not being an issue here as far as speed. Handling, we don't know so much. We won't know that until we get to talk to these drivers here in the post-race show, which will be here before you know it. But as far as speed goes, we're not really losing any speed for these front drivers, as they're really not that far off.
Yeah, especially with these like big spoilers on them. Like, this is kind of like the 2019 package for the Cup cars. It's putting a lot of rear downforce on these cars, so the rear tires will get a little bit more grip than instead of the front end, because the front end is a bit more pointed if you looked at it closely compared to a normal late model.
It definitely is. And it's very interesting. This car in whole is just a very interesting car. When you look at them, you get the pointed nose, the funny-looking grill, and the spoiler on the back. For whatever reason, is clear. That's just the way they are on every car. I'm not even sure you can paint them or put a wrap on them. They're just 100% clear. You don't see many cars here that have clear spoilers on the back, but these cars do for whatever reason. As the 70 here, we're watching Russell Brown try to run down. That group has kind of gotten closer together, but again, back to what we were saying, these cars are very different, to say the least, and they make for some really good battling.
Especially because I think my hypothesis here, I think the reason why the spoiler is clear is because it was too big to see if it was not clear. So that could be why they're clear right now. I could be wrong.
That is probably a very valid point. It is extremely big, and it would really hinder your view as the 13 of Gilliam Fortin gets really sideways. But yeah, back to that point here. Yeah, you definitely would be hard to see as once again the 13 of Gilliam Fortin goes off the track. But it'd be interesting. Let's see here if we maybe have a view where we can take a look at that here and see if we can see anything. I'm not sure we have a view that would give us a good one here. Let's go to Russell Brown, and let's go to his nose camera here and see what we can see from here, from the nose of the number 70. And you can see right there from that angle, of course he is going up a hill, but that spoiler nearly goes to the roof from the angle we're looking at. It's probably not quite that dramatic in real life, but you're right, it is very tall. So I definitely think that could be part of the reason it is clear.
Yeah, especially when we ran the 2011 Nationwides here, if someone was behind you, you couldn't really see them too well unless you had that like virtual mirror on, and that's kind of cheating in my opinion, but I still have it on every now and then. But it's hard to see through those spoilers sometimes, especially at restrictor plates or at road courses like this. But since these are clear, these guys can see everything around them.
They definitely can. You talk about someone coming up behind you. We haven't seen it too much here tonight with 10 laps here to go. But these cars, the way they're designed, they're really low in the front, but the back end is really jacked up. It's not onto the track like we've seen in the past. And what that does is it makes it very easily for someone to get the nose of this car up under yours and get you spun around very easily. Obviously in the road course, we're not going to see that too much here. But it is possible, as it looks like everyone is pretty much on the front stretch right now, or what would be considered the front stretch. However, they're not necessarily all on the lead lap, as we have the 13 of Gilliam Fortin getting loose again, and I have a feeling that 70 may get by him before this is all said and done, as they're going to get by the 52 of Tyler Hilton, who is currently one lap down.
Well, especially that one lap down car, hopefully the lap traffic doesn't get in the way of the number 66, because he's coming through. He's going to make his way through one way or another.
It definitely is. And this is probably one of the only battles that we're keeping an eye on the entire field, but one of the only battles going on right now. The 70 was a lot closer. Again, at 70 is Russell Brown Jr. He was a lot closer to the 13, and even after the 13 made his mistakes on the track, the 70 of Russell Brown was not able to capitalize off of him. And the main reason that is, and we'll go to you here for the race expert on this here tonight, is when you see someone make a mistake in front of you, you want to capitalize off of it. As the 13 goes around officially, and he will be losing that spot now. There's no chance of him getting it back. At the moment, it looks like he's going to go ahead and shut it down. But when someone makes a mistake in front of you, you have to check out too, almost more than they do, because you don't know where they're going to go, and it actually costs you probably more time than it does them.
Yeah, especially because these cars, they're like 3,000 some odd pounds. And when we had the Nationwides here, when someone spun out, it's really depending on where you're spinning, if you're staying on the throttle or you're getting on the brake and checking everyone up. Because on the first lap of this race, when we had it here, we had a lot of guys go off track, and it was just probably because they wanted to get behind people and know what everyone's doing. But other than that, it's just really depending on timing and how people race.
Definitely is. And speaking of timing and racing here, we have David Kikorian. He is actually now, Kikorian. He is actually getting around Russell Brown in the 70. So now we have 2 cars on the lead lap, and that of course is David Kikorian and the 55 of Fred Moreau. Fred Moreau not, I don't think, in too much of jeopardy of going a lap down anytime soon with only 7 laps to go. But that being said, I cannot confirm that 100%. There is a chance as David goes through the line, and you have the 55 quite a ways off, almost 27 seconds behind.
Yeah, definitely. And if the 55 was to make a mistake and spin out or something, that could put him a lap down. Yeah. So at this point, if I was him, I would just run it easy and calm and just try to make laps.
He very well could make a mistake. Hopefully he does not. Again, that is the 55 of Fred Moreau in second place. So we'll be talking to him, assuming he stays where he's at here for the next 6 laps, as well as Russell Brown Jr. In the number 70 machine, currently in 3rd place. And, of course, the 66 of David Kikorian in currently 1st place in the number 66. We now have 5 laps to go. Normally, we would say this is the kind of the point of no return. A caution comes out, the race is over, but this is a road course. There are no full course cautions, period, at all. So a caution cannot end this race. We will end under green flag conditions, as we only have 2 drivers out of this race. That is FP McSwain and Gilliam Fortin, the 75 and the 13. Those 2 out of the race. Everyone else is either on the track, is on the track, but is not necessarily on the lead lap, except for your front 2 right now.
Especially, but the 66 and the 55 look like they're trying to make ground on each other. So if one of them was to mess up, that could jeopardize a win or a position.
It definitely could. Again, we had a battle going on between the 70 and the 13 of Russell Brown and Gilliam Fortin. Due to Gilliam Fortin spinning out, going into the grass, that battle has come to an end. And then, of course, once the 13 of Gilliam went down that lap, he just packed it up after that. He was down a lap. You had 6 laps to go, actually 7 at the time. The chances of him getting his lap back were probably 1 in 1,000, so he didn't have a shot of getting that lap back. He was not going to gain any more positions. That's why he decided to shut it down. But you talk about shutting down. Well, that's the 66 of David Kikorian. He has shut down this field here tonight. Didn't even give him a chance.
Yeah, especially. He's still going through them, playing them off like flies, and he's getting caught back up with that 94. And 94, if you're listening, just let him by, man. You ain't going to beat him tonight.
Yeah, definitely not. Still a solid top 5 finish for the 94 of Troy Radford, considering the fact, too, he did not qualify. He started dead last. So, 4th place finish, definitely a respectable finish. But only 2 drivers look to be going to be finishing on the lead lap here tonight, as we're watching that little battle start to pursue itself out here as the 66. In less than a lap has really run down the 94 of Troy Radford, and Troy's going to do the honorable thing as any driver should, and let the leader by. And, when we talk about, the respectful, the honorable thing to do to let the leader by, especially when you're a lap car, if you are a lap car, if you are actually a lap down or more, they technically do have a flag. I believe it's a blue flag with a yellow stripe that indicates a leader's there, or a faster car is behind you. But if you're, if you're not a lap down, they still can give you that flag. But contrary to what people think, that flag does not mean get out of the way of the leader or the fast car coming. That is just a signal to let you know they are coming. There is no rule, to my knowledge anyway, that actually says get out of the way. It's more of a respect thing. Hey, they're coming. You should let the leaders by. They're faster than you. It really is just meaning a faster car.
More certain, and people that get out of the way if you're a lapped car, that's a great thing to do because I'm sure the leaders don't want to move you out of the way and possibly cause a wreck for other people. So it's pretty much, please move out of the way.
Yeah, it really is. It's more of a, hey, be respectful, do the thing, as the 94 did. He did exactly what you would think he would do. As the white flag is in the air, of course, presented by Northwest Racing Series. We have one lap to go, less than technically a lap to go here, as we'll go to the aerial coverage one more time here, presented by Sam's Ford. As the checkered flag is waving right there, the 66 of David Kokorian is going to be your race winner here tonight, putting it into victory lane. As we'll go down there, there it is right there, your race winner, the 66 of David Kokorian, leading this race from start to finish. As again, we'll go ahead and go through your unofficial race results real fast. Getting the win, of course, the 66 of David Kokorian. Second place will be the 55 of Fred Moreau. Third place will be the 70 of Russell Brown Jr. Fourth place will be the 94 of Troy Radford. Fifth place will be the 52 of Tyler Hilton. Sixth place will be the 18 of Donald Clark. Seventh place will be the 13 of Gilliam Fortin. And rounding out your field here in eighth place will be the 75 of FP McSwain. That will do it, of course, for your unofficial race results. We will be right back here in just a few moments with the rest of your post-race shows. We talk to your top three drivers. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. As we have our top three drivers here from tonight's race. And of course, we do have our own Russell here in the booth. So for our Russell, we're going to hand it over to you as you talk to Russell Brown, our third place finisher here tonight.
So, Russell, how are those tires handling for you? Were they like wanting to rip off your car, or how were they handling?
The tires weren't so much the problem. It's the brakes. These things definitely don't have the brakes for road courses.
Well, we saw them glowing cherry red. So, other than that, how's the top three finish feeling for you?
Well, to me, that was winning the race on a road course because I don't really run that many road courses, and I'm ecstatic that I didn't stuff it in a fence or run off the racetrack.
Well, especially that. Well, Mr. C or Charles, I am out of questions because two Russells do not mix too well.
Well, as always here, Russell, real fast before we jump to second, you got any sponsors and shout-outs you want to give?
Yeah, I just thank my sponsors, 811, Genesis Shocks. Really got to thank my teammates, Wheeling and Dealing, David Krikorin especially. I mean, he is the absolute man when it comes to this road course stuff and the other setups. And, if it wasn't for him helping us with this, there's no possible way I'd have been on this racetrack.
definitely, like you said, getting the win here, even to finish third. So congrats on that third place finish. And to second place we go. That is the 55 of Fred Moreau. And no, I did not plan that out to rhyme. It just kind of happened that way. But that being said, Fred, it seems like we're talking to you more often than not these days as you're getting solid finishes. So to get solid finishes repeatedly here, you started second, you finished second. How does it feel to consistently put those good runs together?
Well, Fred's having a little bit of mic trouble,
Uh-oh.
so he wanted me to let you know. I think he's pretty happy though. Of course, he'd probably like to win, because hell, Fred won what, 3 in a row, 2 in a row.
I believe it was something like that. It's been really good finishes, and it kind of stinks that now we finally get that question to get to ask him, and now is having mic issues. But we know he's definitely a great driver. Obviously, like you said, for him there, he'd love to have gotten the win. Especially with this track here, it's a tough track. So hopefully, if he does get the mic issue sorted out, we'll come back to him. But I know you probably know some of his sponsors as well. So who would those shout outs be for him?
I'm sure that he would want me to include Action Race Wraps and the team Wheeling and Dealing, and I'm sure some help with David on the setups, and I guess that's about as much as I can do right now.
Hopefully we'll be able to chat with him. We will jump over to first place here tonight. Again, we had to clarify the last name, and still hopefully we didn't butcher it. That is the 66 of David Kokorian. We're just going to call you David's zip code here tonight, because that is where you were at. You checked out from this field. You had a 30-second gap over second place. Other than 2 cars that had some incidents, actually technically 1, you lapped this entire field except for the 55 of Fred Moreau. So to come in here and basically, you dominated this race and lap almost the entire field. How was that car handling, and how do you feel to be sitting in victory lane here tonight?
It feels pretty good. The car handled, honestly, probably after 20 laps, a lot better than I anticipated it would, because this car's not the most friendly on road courses anymore like it was a year ago, but I don't know. It handled well enough, and it's still not perfect, but it was good enough to get the job done tonight.
Well, it definitely was. And, on a lighter note, we mentioned this earlier in the pre-race show, or technically before the pre-race show. We didn't even know how fast you were going to be here. We did ask if there was free Pepsis for everyone if you won the race. Is that a thing, or do we have to go out and buy our own Pepsis here tonight?
I wish that was a thing. Otherwise, it'd be set. But yeah, you're gonna have to go buy some.
Well, that is a little sad. So Pepsi, if you're out there watching, or PepsiCo technically, hit him up. David needs some free Pepsi. So regardless of that, definitely, we can't really say you did a lot of good battling or anything like that. You literally were away from this field the whole race. Didn't really have any contact with the rest of the field. So just a dominating performance here. That being said, are you looking forward to next week to see if you can come back and do it again?
I don't know. We'll see. It was funny because I wasn't necessarily planning on running tonight, and Russell and Donald kept bugging me to just go ahead and run. So I said, okay, like half hour before practice, okay, I'll go ahead and run. But I don't know. We'll see. I normally like to do other things on Friday nights, but we'll see if on board we'll come and have some fun.
Well, we'll definitely look forward to seeing you here if you are here with us. And of course, last but not least, is any sponsors and shout outs you want to give for that win here tonight.
Give a shout to all our boys at Wheeling and Dealing. We got a lot more people than normally run, but Russell and Donald and Fred, I guess they're the ones that only mainly run over here, and they all seem to like the setup. I know Fred probably threw a kitchen sink at the setup after it got sent to him, but great WND podium.
Definitely is, and we again look forward to seeing you and the rest of your team over here racing with us. Of course, we're not quite done just yet. We have one more piece of business to take care of before we sign off here for tonight. And of that, of course, is our sponsors here for the race. Those do include your Pole Award, Evidence Base Mommy, Hilton Crafts and Designs, and of course Caldwell Lawn Care Services, your presenting sponsor here for tonight's race, the Caldwell Lawn Care Service 40 of 5. And of course, on the broadcast side of things, we wouldn't be here for 2019 if it wasn't for the following partners: Northwest Racing Series, Walls Beard Co., RaceOnTexas.com, Sim Speed Shop, iBog, Racecore, Hanover Wrecker Service, On the Edge Motorsports, and of course Huffman Designs. We want to thank everybody for tuning in here for tonight's broadcast. We will see you Sunday night with some Racecore action from the Racecore Online Racing League.
This copyrighted broadcast may not be used in any form without the authorized written consent of Virtual Racing Network. VRN would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.